Esports is a highly competitive environment, the sad truth being that most players get stuck in Tier 3, with their biggest accomplishment being a CCT semi-final run. So it's understandable that some people desperate for recognition end up turning to cheats. The topic of cheating has always been a hot one in esports. Hardly a day goes by without someone getting accused for it. But sometimes it's not the actual cheaters who face the heat. It's young, super talented players that just get caught in the crossfire. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe, because you're watching CYBERSHOKE, and today we're bringing you 5 stories of players who were falsely accused of cheating. Custom matches on CYBERSHOKE just keep getting better. Our lobbies aren't limited to standard 5v5. They're a full-fledged match builder. Tweak the game however you like, with mods like auto b-hop, parachutes, and custom models giving you full control. Best of all, it's completely free. Head to CYBERSHOKE and try custom matches now. Links in the description. The story of ropz, now a star player for Vitality, is one of the most well-known cases of false cheating accusations. Back in the day, actual Counter-Strike legends turned against a regular school kid from Estonia, publicly calling him out online. So what is it that he did wrong? Simple. He played too well, and sometimes that's all it takes for the entire pro scene to brand you as a cheater. Back in 2016, Counter-Strike went through a major shift. Before that, pro players had to prove themselves in gaming cafes or local LAN tournaments. But then came FACEIT. These days, it's a well-known and widely used platform, but at the time, it was a total game changer. Suddenly, players didn't need to travel to small events to make a name for themselves. They could build their careers online through the FACEIT Pro League. Not everyone was happy about it. Many old-school pros who lived from tournament to tournament saw online matches as nothing more than a weak substitute. Our hero ropz was one of the first stars of the new online generation. He just wasn't very interested in LAN events. He rose through the FPL ranks fast, grinding out a minimum of 10 matches a day and consistently turning down offline invites. But he wasn't just another name in the mix. Robin was a standout. He regularly finished near the top of the leaderboard, and in January 2017 even claimed the #1 spot. Here's a glimpse of what made him so special back then.
Understairs one.
Understairs,
Still dead.
one was
Short, picking.
That short.
Holding jungle. I'm
One
planting city.
short. Short. Again, short.
Short.
Call maybe.
Nice.
Not all pros could handle the fact that a 17-year-old kid was dominating FACEIT while completely ignoring offline tournaments. Things came to a head when Robin crushed ZywOo with a 16-3 score. The Swedish pro didn't take it well. He started throwing insults, claiming ropz should have been banned a long time ago. Even Magisk backed him up.
Oh god. Oh fuck this ropz retard.
Getting wrecked.
I don't know why the fuck we don't just ban him. He's never gonna show up at the LAN. I don't even want to join a team.
ropz recalls that period as one of the darkest in his life. He lost motivation and even considered quitting CS altogether. He explained that he was simply trying to play smart CS, relying on game sense and strategy. But veteran pros didn't understand his style and quickly labeled him as a cheater. To make matters worse, his parents wouldn't let him sign with any organizations, which meant he couldn't play in official matches, leaving him with no real way to prove he was legit. Just when it seemed like all hope was lost, the FACEIT team came in clutch with a simple yet brilliant idea. They wanted to help Robin clear his name, so they flew him out to their headquarters in London, and there they had him set up on a high-end PC, took away his phone, handed him fresh gear, and told him to play in the Pro League. That day, the entire esports community saw the truth. The Estonian kid that half the scene had written off was no cheater. He was the real deal. So the test worked. Soon after, ropz was signed by MOUZ, officially launching his Tier 1 career. A disappointing caveat of this story is that many of the players who insulted and bullied ropz never apologized. Robin said that some of them just pretended like nothing ever happened, which to him just felt weird. His story might seem like a fairy tale because of the happy ending, but not everyone is so lucky. There are innocent players who couldn't handle the pressure, the hate, or the constant accusations, and ended up walking away from CS for good. You might not even recognize his nickname, but his story stands as one of the clearest examples of injustice in our community, and we believe stories like this shouldn't be forgotten. At just 16 years old, Nathan, better known as Leaf, wasn't seen as the next donk, and no one was calling him a future major winner, but he was a solid, reliable player for Chaos, an American team barely cracking HLTV's top 40, still fighting for recognition on the international stage. On June 22nd, Chaos faced MIBR in an online qualifier for CS Summit, and Leaf, to put it mildly, delivered a standout performance, even outshining Fallen, and that's when everything changed.
This is very tough because they know last year come from Spawn. They got the deep smoke thrown, and the GG is about to be thrown at us. Chaos toss a massive upset here.
The match was cast by Gaules, a hugely popular Brazilian streamer who was the first to openly accuse Nathan of cheating. After Chaos secured the win, thousands of Gaules' fans stormed social media, accusing the team of foul play, and Leaf was the one who took the brunt of it. His accounts were flooded with hate. An army of angry fans sent threats and harassment from all sides. Thankfully, the pro community came to his defense. Fallen, Device, and Tarek all urged fans to stop the hate and wait for the investigation. But the backlash wouldn't quit. It got so bad that the editor-in-chief of Liquipedia even suggested banning Gaules from covering events, noting this wasn't the first time his accusations had stirred up trouble. 15 days later, Gaules finally made a statement. He posted a long message in 2 languages, but it didn't do much to calm things down, probably because it felt about as generic as it gets. By today's standards in 2025, you might think it was written by a free version of ChatGPT. It didn't even mention Leaf by name and never gave a direct apology. And keep in mind, this was the same streamer who had just spent an entire broadcast trying to convince his viewers that Leaf was a cheater. So when 2 weeks later he casually asked his diehard fans to stop the harassment without even saying the kid's name, it's no wonder it didn't help. Sadly, Nathan never fully recovered from the controversy, and his CSGO career began to decline. His future in the game looked uncertain, and the hate just never stopped. In the end, the American made the switch to Valorant, where he continues to compete at a solid level with G2. These days, there's no question about Shiro and nafany's legitimacy. Shiro became a major champion last year, and nafany, at his peak, led one of the best teams in the world as their IGL. But not many know that early in their careers, both were caught in a super stressful situation. Several respected CIS analysts were convinced that they were using unfair advantages, calling it, quote, a very obvious fact. At the time, nafany and Shiro were playing under a team called Team 7, a mix put together to compete in the major qualifier. After a clean win over Evolution, the CIS community didn't take it so well. The accusations began to pile up, and most of the heat landed on Shiro, all because of this clip. The loudest voice fueling the suspicion was Overdrive, and while we can't quote everything he said, thanks to YouTube's terms of service, let's just say he was very confident that cheating was involved. Later, Shiro admitted that he was afraid to attend the Russian esports championship, and it wasn't just because of online hate. His team faced direct threats from well-known figures in the community. But despite everything, they pushed through and showed up to the tournament, and after winning it, the accusations disappeared. But still, the scars remained. Groove, the coach of Gambit, later admitted that the situation really caught his interest. He was sure that Shiro was legit and wanted to sign him. He said, "If a player's skill is enough to make so many professionals think that he's cheating, it's great. It made us really want Shiro in the team." The fourth story is probably the most innocent one in today's video, mainly because the accusations were never made public. But ZywOo's case is a powerful reminder that even quiet conversations behind the scenes can shape a player's future. Everyone knows that ZywOo was once one of the biggest stars of the online scene. Unlike ropz, he did attend LAN events, though they were mostly small, local tournaments. He consistently topped the scoreboards in official matches, and his FACEIT performances were just as dominant. So fans were left wondering, how could one of the strongest oppers in the scene still be stuck on a Tier 3 team? The answer was surprisingly simple. Matthew had made a promise to his mother. He would finish school before fully committing to esports. At one point, he even had to turn down an offer from Envy, who were ready to pay him 10,000 euros a month, all because of that deal with his parents. But even with all his talent, ZywOo still found the path to top-tier esports blocked. Why? Because many pros quietly suspected him of bending the rules. The whole situation was almost comical. On one hand, no one had the nerve to call out ZywOo publicly. His demos were clean, with nothing suspicious to point out. But on the other hand, teams were hesitant to sign him simply because they couldn't believe a kid could be that good. Ocelot, G2's director, actually wanted to bring Matthew on board, but some staff members talked him out of it. They were convinced the French prodigy wasn't legit. Ocelot later admitted he decided against signing ZywOo because he didn't want to risk getting caught up in a potential controversy. ZywOo's case is one of the more innocent ones, like we said. The quiet suspicions from players and analysts thankfully didn't end up affecting his career. His demos were spotless, and eventually he signed with Vitality, where he went on to become Player of the Year 3 times. Last but not least, how could we not talk about the legend? Of course, friends, the talented Sasha had his fair share of cheating accusations back in the day too. Now in 2025, looking back, it's the kind of thing that just makes you laugh and roll your eyes. Simple was already a veteran in spirit. He loved LANs and played in them often, grinding from gaming clubs, traveling to nearby cities, and dominating offline 1v1 tournaments. So what was it that made people think something was off? The reason was his mouse. At just 12 years old, Sasha bought an X7 mouse and mousepad, which he brought with him to every tournament. Later, rumors began to spread. Some claimed that the mouse could run scripts, and that Simple had somehow hacked it to install cheats directly onto it. Even after dominating both online and offline events, some still questioned him. An ESL ban for cheating only added fuel to the fire. Although it was related to CS 1.6, not CSGO, the damage was done. Valve didn't restrict Simple's CSGO career in any way, but the accusations stuck around for a while. Alright, whew, that's it for today. Our deep dive into 5 cases where players were falsely accused of cheating. Some stories like ZywOo's were harmless, but others pushed talented players out of CS entirely. And of course, yes, there is cheating in esports. We're not ignoring that. But as a community, we've got to be more careful with our accusations, because sometimes those so-called cheaters are actually just insanely gifted players. And with that, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss the best esports content. See you in the next one, guys.